Hey everybody, welcome to unit number 4. This is where we are going to really get started on the early stages of your argument essay. So buckle up. It's time to get working on the main assignment for the semester. Let me share my screen with you and we'll take a look at what we're doing this week. I just want to remind you that I did put some announcements up this week. There was a couple after the normal weekly walkthrough. One is a pretty cool resource on integrating quotations. That was something, of course, that we practiced in the assignment from unit number 2, and that a lot of folks, kind of had some struggles with. Working quotations into your own writing can be tricky. One of the main things that people do wrong, and I hate to use that word because it's not really wrong if you still cite your source, but it just doesn't fully work, uh, is to just kind of put the quote in there without anything else. You always want to have your quotations attached to phrases or sentences of your own. So this is a really cool resource. It also talks a lot about documentation and stuff. So take a look at that if you haven't already. And then make sure that you are actually reading your feedback when you're getting it for those assignments, because of course I give you a lot of information in there. I will mention though, if you have questions about it, once you've gotten your grade on it and looked at your feedback, make sure you shoot me an email from your student email, rather than writing comments in the assignment, because Blackboard doesn't alert me to that. So if you have questions, make sure you send those by email. All right, so without further ado, let's go to unit number 4. And we are now going to be working with our own sources that we're finding. And so it's a little bit different than what we did in unit 2, where the source was provided for you. Some of you did your own independent research anyway, which is, it's good practice. It may not have been what the assignment was, but it's good practice. So we're really going to be utilizing the post library this week, and you're going to be starting to gather materials for your argument essay. So your objectives this week, of course, are to analyze the source for reliability, incorporate evidence to support main points through not just quoting now, but through paraphrasing and summarizing, and of course, recognize how to evaluate a source. So as usual, you've got your readings and resources, and then we have 2 assignments this week, one discussion board as always, and then we're back to the formal writing assignment instead of a quiz or a knowledge check as we had in week 3. So let's take a look at the readings and resources folder first. You've got a section on finding evidence, which has some readings from the text, as well as this video, which is extremely important, about how to access and use the library databases. It also has the transcript if it helps you to read along, but it's only a 3-minute video, so please check that out. And then evaluating sources, again, a couple of readings from the textbook as well as an activity. So I cannot stress this enough. Please make sure that you are doing all of the readings and watching videos and doing the activities before you tackle the assignment. Sometimes I see really quick, discussions going up and things sometimes before I've even posted one of these videos. And I really want you to take your time to make sure that you're doing the learning part, before you do the testing part. It's really, really important. So let's go back to unit 4. Once you have read and done the videos and activities, you're going to be writing about pros and cons, because that's where we are headed with the argument essay. This, of course, is more of a fun topic and less of a formal argument topic, but it will be kind of the practice of looking at pros and cons. So you're going to choose a product. You're going to write your discussion this week is going to be 2 paragraphs long. One is going to be a pro for that product. The other will be a con paragraph for that product. Now, you are not required to do any research for this. So if you do research, make sure you cite your sources. And most of the time it would probably be internet searches versus library searches, but you of course are welcome to use any kind of research when none is required. So the ideas here, and you don't have to use the suggestions. You can pick something of your own. Non-waterproof mascara, an SUV, organic food, scented candles, and black flavored licorice. So you can pick other products if you want to. Maybe a brand of coffee. I'm drinking some lovely coffee right now. So that's what made me think of that. Maybe bottled water versus, using tap water, things of that nature. So really totally up to you. Lots of fun things that you can choose from there. Now, once you've posted your own, of course, you're going to look at what your peers have written and review their product responses as well. Have you ever used the product they are writing about? Did any of the pros and cons they highlighted persuade you to use or to try the product? As usual, your post should be up by Wednesday night, and then you should have your follow-up replies to your classmates done by the following Sunday. Now, the next assignment, the formal writing assignment this week, gets us into argument essay territory, but we are not yet writing the argument essay. We are writing a 2-paragraph pro and con, just like we did for the products on the discussion board. You are now, though, focusing on what topic you're going to end up choosing for your argument essay. So the 3 choices are free speech regulated on social media. Pros of that, cons of that. Should it be censored? Should it not be censored? That's kind of the pro and con side for that. Mandatory American health insurance. What would be the benefits of having every American have to be covered by insurance? That's the pro side. The con side would be, what are the downfalls of that? What would be the negative side of having mandatory American health insurance? And then finally is a topic that last term, some people kind of got hooked on just one aspect of it. The last one is American National Service requirement. Now, we do not have that right now. We also don't have a mandatory American health insurance policy at the moment. Free speech is sort of regulated by social media, depending on the platform. But the other 2 are really just theoretical. These are not things that currently exist, but you're thinking about what would be the pros of it and what would be the cons of it. Most people, when they think of a national service requirement, they immediately think of the military. And there are countries where it is mandatory at age 18 that all citizens who are able serve in the military. Israel, for example. We do not have that here. But there are other types of required service that you could impose. So it doesn't have to be military. There are service requirements for things like, you could choose to become a teacher in an inner city school, and that would fulfill a mandatory service requirement. You could choose to work in a particular charity in healthcare or things of that nature. So I want you, when you're thinking about that one, to not just immediately focus only on the military or on a draft, because of course we do not have an active draft. We have not had one for quite some time. So the second 2 are good topics. They're very interesting, but they are also not something that already exists. So kind of have to be creative with how you search for that and how you think about that. When you are looking at resources in the library for pros and cons, you will probably not be able to just type in a box that says pro free speech regulated on social media. You're going to be creative with how you search for that. So I would start by searching in social media. I would probably add the term censorship or regulation, speech regulation, free speech, and social media. Like there's a lot of search terms that you can play with. Same thing with the others. American health insurance is not really a search term that you probably would use. Certainly not mandatory American health insurance. But you could search things like required insurance or mandatory insurance and kind of work your way out from there. If you need ideas for what to use for search terms, that's where Google can come in really handy. Even though we're not really searching Google, we are searching the library tools, but using Google to kind of get some more ideas about what these things might be called can be really, really helpful. Same thing with national service requirement. That's a very specific kind of term. You can play around with that, and especially not use all 4 of those words in that order each time you search. Sometimes it gets really scary because we put in the term that they've given us and we're not finding things, but that's not really the reason for those terms. So really be creative with how you decide to search. Now, do keep in mind that you are picking your topic now for the um, for the um, assignment later, but as well, the argument essay. So once you pick a topic, you're going to keep going with that. This link, the Unit 4 assignment complete instructions and grading rubric, is not the paper assignment. This is the assignment for this week. So this is what you'll want to use as you are guiding yourself. And I believe I've mentioned this before. Honestly, I would probably print this out if I were taking this class as a student, because it helps me to have this in writing and I can read over it again and again and again. It also comes with the rubric. So you will have the ability to see in advance, how your assignment is going to be graded. Because this is still a formal writing assignment, you will have a cover page. You will have 2 paragraphs that start on page 2. It could go on to page 3. It might not, depends on how long your paragraphs are. 1 pro paragraph, 1 con paragraph. Or if you don't want to think about it in terms of pros and cons, then look at it as the 2 sides of that issue, whatever issue you're choosing. And then you will have a references page that has 2 items on it, both of which you have found using the library at Post University. So it needs to be a formal document. It needs to be submitted and uploaded as a document. We've almost got everybody there, but there were still a few who are kind of struggling with that APA format for things in Unit 2. So if you need extra help with that, don't forget that you have access at any time to go back to Unit 1 and to use that APA template. It is in the Unit 1 resources, and this one will open in Word for you, and you can type over it and save it. I showed you how to do that in an earlier video. Those videos in the announcements also never go away, so please feel free to go back and read those again, or watch those again, I should say. So those are your 2 assignments for this week. Of course, that one is not due until Sunday night. At the end of the week, if you need help with it, please reach out during the week and I can get you some extra help with it. Don't forget that you also have, as a post student, you have access to the tools over here, the 7th edition of APA to help you with citations, the Tutor Me system, and the Grammarly and Academic Writer. Those can also give you some individual help, especially if you're working on your assignment, say in the middle of the night and I'm not available. But definitely reach out if you've got questions about the assignment. I can help you get going in the right direction. And I will see you guys later this week with another announcement. And for sure, I'll be back with you via video for the intro to unit number 5. So everybody take care, have a great week, and I will see you soon.